Good morning, everybody. Thanks again for tuning into my YouTube channel. And today I'm going to do something very slightly different. Actually, it's massively different. I'm going to talk to you about a book or about a photographer. And before we get into that, I want to just explain a little bit about how YouTube has changed everything again. And if you subscribe to the channel, you probably won't be seeing the new video updates coming into your feed unless you hit the bell icon in the bottom left-hand corner. Hitting the bell icon is going to allow YouTube to tell you when I post new content. I'm trying to post every week, and I'm hoping that the content I'm putting out there is useful to you. I'm enjoying doing it, and the feedback and the comments I'm getting is pretty good right now. So please hit that bell and subscribe and share and all of the good stuff. And hopefully today's little episode will be something that's a bit different, but maybe will hopefully introduce you to something or somebody that I think is very important in the photographic world. So a couple of weeks back, I asked what people would like to see on this channel. And the underlying consensus was that, just carry on, Kev. You all said, just do what you've been doing, which is great. And it's basically been posting videos on subjects and themes, seemingly randomly, I suppose, but always kind of based on either education or inspiration, I suppose. So today I'm going to introduce you to someone, or rather something, that inspired me so intensely that it literally took my breath away, literally. I suppose I spend a lot of my time studying other photographers, not to copy or emulate them, but to educate and inspire myself. They're not always wedding photographers, but that genre exists. I have a photo book collection of maybe 300 or so books, many of which are signed or first editions, and as much as I hunt out rare and collectible photo books, I get them not to sit on the shelf and collect dust of value, but to look at, to consume, to pore over, to engross myself in the imagery and the stories within those pages. Photo books wrapped in polythene and never looked at because it will affect the value is a little bit like having a classic car and never driving it for me. And I genuinely want to own these books because of their contents and not because of their value. Now, my photo book collection is growing, and whilst Gemma eyes me very suspiciously when I disappear into the deepest recesses of an old antique shop, hunting down some more books, it's something I just love to do. I have a professional interest in it, I guess, and I kind of feel like these books that have been lovingly curated and often beautifully made need a home from someone who's going to appreciate them. That's where I come into it. Now, some of you who study social and documentary photography, as I do, will likely have heard of the photographer Darcy Padilla. Now, when I first saw Darcy's work, I was literally stopped in my tracks, literally. Darcy is an American photojournalist who specializes in contemporary issues and long-term photo projects. She is the recipient of three World Press Photo Awards for her work, The Julie Project. And it's the Julie Project which, whilst the title seems incongruously benign, the context of the subject and the depth of the images is possibly the most powerful piece of photographic work I personally have ever experienced. And I suppose experience seems like an odd adjective to apply to a photo essay, but it's an experience, and if you've never seen the body of work before, then I think you'll want to experience it too. So, in Darcy's own words, this is the story of the Fyffe family. Jack is 20 and Julie is 18. Her daughter Rachel is 8 days old. Julie and Jack are HIV positive. Rachel tested negative. Julie was abused by her stepdad when she was a child, and at 14 she ran away from home and spent most of her days on the streets. Rachel gave her a reason to live. The Julie Project manifests itself in the most beautiful book called Family Love. I'll link to the details below, of course, but it seems to be only available in French text and published by a company called Editions de la Martinière. The text is important, but if your French is not as good, like mine isn't, then we're blessed with a film that can currently be found on YouTube. Again, I'll link below to the details of the film, and I encourage you, if you're going to watch that film, watch it with a broad mind and an empathetic eye. Now, the book, the images, the film, you see, it's all about empathy. It's all about the empathy for the Fyffe family. Darcy has spent 21 years with the family, and intimacy of the images is tangible. The story is heartbreaking, but that doesn't stop it from being beautiful. Even though the subject is difficult, the story will always and always has to remain beautiful. This is a story that has been crafted with love rather than exploitation, and it's a story that's defined by the most gracious monochrome imagery that enables us, as a voyeuristic bystander, to just take a peek, unencumbered by modern censorship, into a life that has been lived and a story that should be told. Now, from a photographic point of view, and I've mentioned this many times before, the images in the truest sense are not always technically perfect. But who cares? In fact, who would even dare to dilute the strength of this essay by analysing the techniques? Absolutely. Darcy is a well-qualified photographer of great standing. Her understanding of the trinity of light, composition and moment is beyond anything many of us will ever comprehend. And myself absolutely included. The gritty nature of the film used and the incredible talent of Darcy to see these moments makes each and every image a masterpiece for me. Every single one of them. This isn't a book that you should page flick or randomly delve into. For the purpose of this film, that's of course what I'm doing, but just to show you what lies within the pages. This is a story which is in chronological order, and each image in my mind should be looked at not from a photographer's point of view, but from the point of view of somebody who is being told a story. You see, the context of this book is one of education and understanding, I suppose, and it's one of love and empathy, and it's one of total and utter beauty. As the story unfolds, I found myself smiling a lot, and I found myself on several occasions in tears. I'm not afraid to say that. I'm not looking at these images and trying to establish the shot. I'm not looking at the images and wondering how. I'm looking at the shots and believing in the true art of photojournalism and a story that has to be told. And the medium of photography was the best way to tell this story, I feel. The book itself, in its physical form, is joyous to hold. The curators of the book have not bowed to the pressures of bookshops and to steer away from landscape-orientated form. Each image is presented in the correct ratio on the right-hand spread of the page, which allows our eyes to naturally fall on the most important element. To the left is the text, and sometimes it's detailed, sometimes less so, but I believe the book designers have given the images space to breathe, and those images deserve space to breathe. A strong binding and simple cover is a nod to the power of the story inside. It's a really, really beautiful book to hold. Now, for me personally, some of the most powerful images used in the book are exploring the often turbulent relationship between adults and children. As a father myself, I guess, when I see some of these images, it makes me weep a little bit. There are beautiful portraits of family life within the pages of Family Love, and there are some also tragic episodes that balance this thing we call life so precariously, I guess. With any image in this book, I feel deeply into the sense of the moment. Some of the wider context setting images maybe want to explore more, see what was around the back of the house, enter the garden, get a better understanding of the environment. And that's a great skill as a photographer. If we see images that we want to ask questions about the context rather than about the technique, then the picture is winning. Always winning. Every picture in this book is winning. Some of the more very emotional images are incredibly powerful, and again, Darcy's empathy for Julie and Jack is tangible. It's just tangible. There's that word again. These images are a gritty reminder of somebody's everything. It's a sad story, it's a happy story, it's a beautiful story, and it's a loving story. It was a long-term project where Darcy has not held back in any way. The passion it admits is unsurmountable, and it's obvious why the story won so many prizes. Darcy Padilla's Family Love is a book that everybody should experience, whether you're a photographer or not.